Welcome to xHanky Lifestyle TV, and today we're going to do some more cooking. So today's meal is roast pork, and here is the ingredients you need to get started. So initially we get yourself some roast pork. I grabbed this one from the supermarket. It was on special, and the first thing we want to do is remove the skin of the roast pork. So essentially this recipe is going to cook the pork roast separate to the skin, which we're going to try and make some crackling out of. I'm not that sure if my crackling is going to be great. This is only the second or third time I've tried it, but we'll give it a go. But this skin is really on there, so it could be a little bit interesting removing it. I think my knife's a little bit too blunt. So let's get stuck in. So I'm trying to leave as little actual pork roast on the skin as possible. So essentially you have the layer of skin with just a little bit of fat, and then we'll roast that separately, and hopefully have two quite nice little dishes out of this one piece of pork. Struggling a little bit here. It's coming off slowly. I've left a little bit of too much meat on the skin there, but we'll deal with that a bit later. Getting a bit frustrated with this. I'm thinking about just trying to rip it off, but it's really stuck on there well. It's better be worth it when it's finished. Hopefully it'll be tasty. You'll have to excuse my knife cutting technique. I'd recommend you guys follow the process, but maybe you have a better knife cutting technique than I do. So mine's not particularly safe, I think. So try and be careful. Keep young kids away from the knives as well if you've got them around in the kitchen with you while you're cooking. Just about off. Yeah! Okay, so I've managed to separate the skin of the pork from the pork roast itself. Although I have to say I haven't separated all of the pork roast, so I'll just cut a little bit of off the edges here, just to try and get that pork skin as clean as possible. You really just want, ideally you just want a little bit of meat left at the edge, and basically just skin and fat, and the fat will bubble up nicely once we've prepared it, and we'll cook that. Giving it a good old trim. Just about done. Trim as much of the meat off as you can, and you can cook that with the rest of the roast. Should be nice. I'm really looking forward to this. I think I've used about as much energy preparing it as it's going to give me when I eat it. This blunt old knife's getting quite good at cutting now. I just had my technique wrong, maybe. Well, that's done. So we've got the two pieces of the component dish there. So now what we're taking a bit of olive oil, and we're just oiling up the skin of the pork. That'll help it to to cook evenly, and hopefully to sort of start to crackle up a little bit. Two real key components here. The olive oil. You can use any kind of oil, but I prefer to use olive oil. It's got a high flash point, and now I'm salting it. So olive oil and salt, basically, that's all you need to do to prepare the pork skin. Giving it a good massage. After all that cutting, nothing like a good massage, that's what I say. Here we go. So put it on a piece of baking paper and set it aside. Now I'll crush the garlic. I like garlic, so I recommend it. I don't know, not everyone's cup of tea, garlic, but it's fantastic, and it just adds to just about any dish, brings out the flavours. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm going to do something here with the garlic that I'd like to do with the roasts, because what I found was the inside of the roast doesn't taste that garlicky, even if you put garlic in there and cook it with the roast. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to slice those get the garlic up, into of triangles, something a little bit sharp, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with it to help infuse the garlic flavour into the pork as it cooks. You can cut the garlic into a little bit kind of rough chunks. Doesn't have to be small chunks or chopped up or anything or minced. It's just rough and ready, Kiwi style. Okay, move that to the side of the board and bring across the pork roast. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to chuck a little bit of I'm going to just basically pierce the meat, and I'm going to force a little bit of that garlic in under the flesh. The point there, as I see it, is to help the garlic to infuse through the taste of the meat as it cooks, and hopefully once it comes out and is all sliced up, there'll be some nicely cooked meat with garlic actually infused through it. So if you're a big fan of garlic, that's great. You don't have to do this. It's just something I do. I use a lot of garlic with all my cooking. It's an amazing ingredient, garlic. You know, it's one of those things you can't really have too much garlic. At least that's what I've found. I know a lot of people don't like garlic, but I think it's really a magical ingredient, and it's one of those spices that you want to just put with everything. So I'll try and get all this garlic into the pork if I can. Sometimes that's a bit of a challenge. This pork's got a few big bones in it as well, which are a bit of a challenge as well. So once again, be careful with the knife, and it would always help to have a sharper knife. Might get myself a sharp knife next week, eh? Just about there. Running out of places to put this garlic. But as I said, don't waste the garlic. It's the most important ingredient. The extra pieces of meat on the side there, I guess you're thinking I'm going to do something with that, but actually I'm not. It's just I'll cook it with the roast, so we'll see how that goes. So here we are, back over at the oven. I've got the gas going. A little bit of oil in the frying pan. You need a big frying pan for this because this is a big piece of pork. It's about 2 kgs, and I'm just going to sort of seal the outside of the pork. So I will cook it over a medium to high heat, and I'll just try and brown the outside of the pork and caramelize it a little bit. You really want to. This is an important part. You can do a roast without doing this, but to be honest, it helps to seal in all the juices, and in my case, it helps to seal in some of the garlic too. And then when it roasts, those juices tend to stay in the meat a little bit better, and you get a far better result. So it's getting warm, so make sure the oil's hot, and in she goes. I normally do this while I'm doing other things in the kitchen, you know, preparing some vegetables or something like that. But time to turn it over. Let's see what it looks like. This is after about 10 minutes or so. So we've got the little brown bits there, the outside of the meat starting to brown, and that is the magic. That's where the flavour is. When something has been brown, that brown is kind of caramelizing of the surface of the meat, and it harbours the flavour. So okay, let's prepare the vegetables while that's on the go. Okay, so there's your ingredients. Okay, so I've just basically halved the potatoes. You can peel them if you like. I don't like to peel them. You know, I'm a KIWI guy. I like to have my potatoes with the skins on, a bit of olive oil, and then we're just giving them a rub all over. And this is an important step too. If you want to make nice roast potatoes, this helps to crisp the outside of the potatoes as it cooks in the oven. So what they end up being like big chips basically, which is everyone likes chips, don't they? So I'm just I'm going to push those around the base of the cooking dish. Yeah, I'm pretty rough and ready with this. Doesn't really matter too much. This is a roast, you know, so you get it in the oven and you just cook it. So I'll grab the vegetables I'm going to do here. So you got your onion. So we just want to basically take the skin off the outside of the onion, and then we'll cut it up coarsely to a few quarters, usually quarters or halves, depending on how big the onion is. I quite like cutting onions. It's quite therapeutic, isn't it? Especially with this music. So I'm just going to cut this one into quarters. And that'll go in with the potatoes. Oh, it's getting pretty oily there. What do we got next? Another onion. One of the good things about making a roast is you really don't have to prep everything up front, you know. It's a kind of a 2 or 3 stage process. So like I said, once you get the initial the roast basically searing on the outside, you can start preparing the vegetables, and that should all come together harmoniously at the end for an hour and a half or 2 hours in the oven. And here's a carrot. It's always good to have a bit of colour in your dishes. I have to admit, I'm a meat and brown vegetables guy, so you know that's not that healthy. So a carrot or two is always helpful, and it's healthy too. You can cut these how you like. I cut them just into chunks like this. Spread them evenly out, just like everything else. It's coming together. Do you know what this is? If you're a New Zealander, you might. This is a Swede. We love our Swedes here. I got this big Swede here is as big as, it was as big as my head when I bought it. And you know, I'll use the Swede what might last 3 or 4 weeks. I can't use all of it at once, so I'll get enough of the Swede and I'll just cut that up into chunks as well. It goes great in a roast. And for those of you that haven't tried Swede, I recommend you try it. You can cook it with a roast like I am here, or you can cook it similar to the way you would cook mashed potatoes. You know, you can boil them and mash them. A little bit of butter, a little bit of salt and pepper, and it's just very simple, very good cooking, very easy cooking. You want to peel the skin off though. The skin on the Swedes isn't flash. It's a little bit thick and difficult to eat if you ever try eating it. So I'd recommend don't try eating it. Slice these up. Generally, when you're cooking a roast like this, it helps to try to slice the vegetables into similar sizes. The reason is that they'll cook more evenly if you do that. As you can see, I'm not too fussed on that. I cook everything as big chunks of meat, big chunks of vegetables. So it is what it is. A little bit of mixed spice there to add a little bit of flavours. You can just use salt and pepper if you like, or nothing at all. Depends what you like. Back over to the old oven, the stovetop. As you can see, that's nicely caramelised there on the surface. So I guess I guess you can see my oven dish is a little bit small. But, you know what? We'll just roll with it. Now, see that stuff in the pan? You don't want to waste that. That is where a lot of the flavour from the meat is gone. So get your favourite drop of wine. You can probably use something else. You might be able to use water as well. I'm just going to deglaze this pan with some red wine, and we won't waste that. So we'll heat it up, get everything off the base of the pan, give it a good scrape, A lot of people probably don't like to see me scraping a non-stick pan, but you know, it's what it is. You can see all the flavour coming off there, and you want to, you know, apply a bit of heat here. You can see I'm applying a little bit of heat, and it's starting to really bubble up there. So once we've done that, we won't waste that, or we'll pour that over the roast as well. Look at that. That is just basically just a pan of flavour. There's no food in there, just flavour. So we won't waste that. We'll pour that on top. So that'll filter through and hopefully help flavour the vegetables. Now that one, you can take this and you can put it in the oven, 180 degrees for around, probably for about 40 to 45 minutes per 500 grams of pork you've got. And it should be fantastic. 180 degrees, for those of you that aren't in New Zealand, is I think approximately around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm talking 180 degrees Celsius. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of these type of videos. And I'm Jeff, and this is xHanky Lifestyle TV.